Hey everybody, how's it going? Matt Montanez here. So before I actually dive into this video, I want to talk about a few things. I mentioned DistroKid in previous videos a few times, and now I keep getting the question by a few of my followers, subscribers, and just people who want to know. They're asking, what is DistroKid? So I thought I'd take the time before I dive into this video and explain what DistroKid is. DistroKid is an amazing service for singers, artists, producers, even songwriters. Basically what it does is puts your music into streaming services and stores so your fans can actually purchase your music. It's really cool. It makes things easy. You upload your music to them, you set a date, and boom. On that date, your music's in the stores. After, of course, everything's done processing, you have your artwork and things like that uploaded. That's pretty much what it does. The cool thing about DistroKid is that it actually collects your earnings and stuff. So when people purchase your music through like iTunes, I think it's still called iTunes, or when they stream your music on Spotify, Apple Music, or YouTube even, they collect your streaming earnings and you can withdraw those right in your account. You can withdraw it to your PayPal account, to your bank account, and there are processing fees, but that's on the other end. Like PayPal charges like 2 point something percent, so keep that in mind. And then the bank account, the processing fee, I think the standard's like $1, so you're paying like $1 to get it transferred. Every few months you can just go in there, see whatever your streams and your music collected, some earnings for you, and you can withdraw it. Very dope. A few other things about DistroKid, which is really awesome, that I would like to mention. They have something called Hyperfollow. Hyperfollow, and basically it's a link you can put onto your social media or send it to your fans, and they can subscribe to your music, and they get notifications about new songs being released. It lets them choose their favorite streaming service of that song that's coming out. It gets some reminders. It kind of lets you engage with your fans a little bit more, which is really, really cool. DistroKid also handles song split. So let's say you make a record with like your friend, and it's like, okay, we both worked on this record, so we both should make some kind of streaming earnings from it or something, or purchase earnings. Well, DistroKid handles the splits. Basically, you go in there, you click teams, you tell DistroKid, hey, I made a song with this person, here's their email, and they make 50%. And DistroKid will handle the splits. They'll send you 50%, they send your friend 50%, and you guys withdraw it on your own time. Easy. You don't need to worry about paying anybody out, so that's always cool. You can also upload lyrics to your song, so when it hits the streaming services and the stores, your songs actually have the lyrics to it, and that's always a plus because, sometimes you get a little mumbly, like, I don't know, some kind of mumble rap or something, and people don't know what your lyrics are, and you don't want people to get your lyrics twisted and things like that, so you can just upload your lyrics right in DistroKid also. And my favorite thing about DistroKid is you can set release dates. And that's a huge plus in this day and age when we're creating music at homes, when we're creating music in home studios, project studios, at a friend's house, anywhere. You can literally create music anywhere. And let's say you create 3 songs, 4 songs, 5 songs, or a song a day for a week. And you're like, okay, I just don't want to put all these songs out at one time. Well, you can schedule release dates. So you can put a song out this month, the next month, the next month, and it'll release it on those days. And that's huge. I mean, that's something every artist needs to do, especially because let's say you make a Christmas song in July. Well, that Christmas song is not going to come out till closer to Christmas. So you can schedule it to come out during Christmas time. So it works out. It's super dope. That's my favorite feature in the entire DistroKid thing. Well, you're probably asking, what does it cost, right? Well, it's super cheap. I'm going to say that now. And it starts at $20 for the year. Yep, $20 for the year. And you get unlimited uploads for $20. So that beats a lot of other services that does this, where they're charging per upload or per album and things like that. And that's insane. So this is unlimited uploads for $20. And of course, there's tiers where you can pay a little more and you get a little extra benefits. So yeah, that's DistroKid. I highly recommend you check it out. I know a lot of my other friends love DistroKid and they recommend it too. Now, let's dive into this lesson. Hey everybody, so now we're gonna jump into this tutorial, right? And basically, I've been getting the same question over and over and over. That question is, where do you start with your vocals? Where do you start mixing at? And then the second question behind that is how do you get vocals in your face? I decided to make a couple videos, like a small series, I guess. There'll probably be 3-4 videos about this. And it's basically where I start, when I got my vocals pretty much there, and how to get the vocals in your face, and then also just using the right effects. That's where I'm going to wrap up at. So today I'm going to show you where I start with my vocals. And I'm hoping not to drag this on, but we'll see what happens, right? So here I brought in this record called T-Pain, and it's by Chizzy Stevens. And you guys all have heard this record. You guys heard the mix for it. If you watched my other videos, I have a video called The Ear Candy I Used for T-Pain by Chizzy Stevens. And it shows what I did here in these ad-libs. It shows how I did the auto-tunes effects for this record and a couple small other things, delays and things like that. The other video I have about this record is how to get professional vocals with an Audio-Technica 2020. And that shows you my exact recording chain, how I recorded this song with an Audio-Technica 2020. And, you know, that's like a $79, $99 microphone. And the vocals sound great. So I showed that in that video, and I'll put the link in the description below. Maybe it'll pop up, will come up here somewhere if I remember to do that. But this video now, I'm going to show you how I mix these vocals, which it wasn't a lot. If I remember correctly, there's like no EQ going on except a little low end, things like that, and a de-esser. But let me show you like the process, the thought process, I guess you can say that. So when I come in, I brought in the session, and of course you see the stems laid out, the chops are the same, song ends, all the vocals are edited, right? And that's like the first thing you want to start. You want to edit all your vocals so everything stays tight on the record. So if I come in here and I click solo, and I click play.
I'm a fan. Man, I wish I had a couple.
So like you hear here, these chops, and you don't hear any pops, you don't hear any clicks.
I had a couple of more bands.
You don't see this. I have a fade here because this kind of extended out a little bit more, and you see it's kind of harsh here, but then it kind of just leveled it out. Same here with this
bands.
This B
Cause
on
I'm
bands.
caught up in the way you.
This B on bands. If I pull that back,
bands.
It kind of pops at you, and it's just a little too much for my taste. So I just put a fade on it.
Bands.
And it just calms it down, and that's going through all the vocals here. See, crossfade, so nothing gets cut off.
No way you do your dance.
Same thing with that.
I was leaving, but I'm making some new plans. I'm in a trance, yeah.
And even this, yeah, I faded quite a bit on it. It just calms it and keeps things steady. Then when you go to like this lead vocal and you mess with the stacks, everything's real tight and in line. Like this probably could have got a fade on here a little bit more and get a little tighter there, but I think I liked the width it was giving it. That's why I didn't do that. You can see crossfades here for the comps. A different kind of fade here. I use this because how it comes in, so watch. Oops, let me solo that.
Just one song. Just one song.
So you hear that?
Just one song.
It's real calm and neat. But if I did this kind of fade where it didn't have the arch, which is just one of these,
just one song.
It's just a little too strong for me, so I put that.
Just one song won't do.
And that's pretty much it. You just go in, you tighten everything up, you clean up everything, you clean up the bleed. Because if you come in here and I bring this back, all this back, you see there's a lot of bleed in here. And you can hear it just a little bit there. And I don't like that. I keep things super clean.
Girl, that body's what I want.
That's what I did first. Cleaned everything up, and then my thought was, okay, let's hear these vocals. So let's pull off that EQ, let's pull off that de-esser, because I did not have those on there. As you can see, I'm running through these NLS things. See, that's going to lead vocals here. I have the pull tech here, and then an exciter, which I used. So let's mute that pull tech, the exciter. Let's mute the pull tech chain. And then of course this is reverb, and then I got a width thing. Let's mute that.
I'm a fan. Man, I wish I had a couple of more bands.
So when I come in, I'm like, okay, the first thing I really do is I bring in my instruments. Before I even touch the instruments, before I touch anything else, I set the highs on my vocals. So I'm gonna come in here and I'll be like, okay, the highs, let's see what they're doing.
I'm a fan, man, I wish I had a couple of more bands.
So you have a little of that tss on there, but it's not enough to add a de-esser yet, in my opinion. So I was like, okay, let's add an exciter and see what that sounds like. So I added the exciter.
I'm a fan, man, I wish I had a couple of more bands. Cause I'm caught up in the way you do your dance.
And now you hear those S's a little bit more coming through the sibilants, and it sounds real good. It sounds a lot brighter. So let me mute and unmute that.
I'm a fan, man, I wish I had a couple of more bands. I'm a fan, man, I wish I had a couple of more bands. I'm a fan, man, I wish I had a couple of more bands.
Right away, it got my highs sitting really good. Like, this vocal's bright now, it sounds good. So that's the beauty about it. So if I open the exciter, I'm using the Waves Vintage Auto Exciter. It's like one of my favorites. It's in my template all the time. Throw off the noise, slam it to 10. I brought the output down 2.5, but it doesn't really matter. And I like mix 1 over mix 2. That's just my favorite. And it sounds great. That's it. That's all I did there. And I was like, okay, let's control those S's now, the sibilants. So I brought in this de-esser, which I have a video on this de-esser, and I bring it in and I just adjust the threshold.
I'm a fan, man, I wish I had a couple of more bands. Cause I'm caught up in the way you do your dance.
And it's barely doing anything, but it's just keeping those S's, the sibilants, the highs, just tight where it needs to sit. So here's without it.
I'm a fan, man, I wish I had a couple of more bands. Cause I'm caught up in.
And here's solo, so you can just hear what it's doing. So like you hear, it's controlling those mids a bit. It's bringing them down, those high mids, and also the highs a little bit. It's just keeping everything in its place. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the Auto Exciter actually adds quite a bit of mids as well. So it just makes everything bright in that whole top end there. And let me show you. So if I go to the Auto Exciter send and I click pre, yeah, pre, and then it's pre-fader, so you're still going to hear the effect, but you're not going to hear the actual vocal going out. And then we play it. So I'm going to just raise this up. Let's see, let's remember where it's at, 12.6, just to exaggerate so you can hear what it's adding in, the exciter.
I'm a fan, man, I wish I had a couple of more bands.
So it's adding like those highs in there. So watch, if I bring in the sound field and we'll do a Paz analyzer, and you'll see exactly what it's adding.
I'm a fan, man, I wish I had a couple of more bands. Cause I'm caught up in the way you do your dance.
So it's adding all this in here. So I wanted to control everything here in this whole region. So that's why I wanted the de-esser overall. So let's take that out. Let's put this back to 12.6 and take it off pre-fader. And this 3.8.
I'm a fan, man, I wish I had a couple of more bands.
So I had that de-esser. Then I was like, okay, the vocals can sit a little more cozy. And of course you roll off your low end, the rumble 96. And then I just brought up the 110, 1.4. That little small boost at 110, I thought it just makes the vocals a little more comfy, you know, a little more warm there. But it didn't quite sit warm, so that's why I went into the Pultec chain, you know, that little famous Pultec chain, which is a Pultec cutting, I believe, cutting, attenuating. Then you go into like a CLA2A or something, or an LA2A, and then you go into a boost of the Pultec.
I'm a fan, man, I wish I had a couple of more bands. Cause I'm caught up in the.
And that's pretty much how I got these vocals to sit right. But the main thing is, like I said, when I start with the highs. And on this record, I decided to just use the Aphex Exciter without doing any additional EQ. Usually I'd go in my EQ and I'd boost up.
I'm a fan, man, I wish I had a couple of more bands, cause I'm caught up in the way you do your dance.
Actually sounds pretty good though, but yeah, usually I boost up the highs, and then I see how the highs are sitting, and then I make a few cuts. But it really just needed that RO exciter on this record. It didn't need much else.
I'm a fan, man, I wish I had a couple of more bands, cause I'm caught up in the way you do your dance. I was leaving, but I'm making.
And pretty much that's how I got my vocals to start off the right way, is I threw on the RO exciter, the de-esser, just to keep everything tight, because it's pretty much just a compressor just on certain frequencies, so it's just keeping everything tight. That was just popping out too much, which is consonants and sibilants. And then, like I said, I wanted things to sit a little more cozy, so I just added that. And that's it. That's where I start. All right, I hope this helped everybody who just want to tune in real quick and see where to start on vocals. Like I said, you always want to start with the highs. At least for me personally, I think starting with the highs is great. And you can start with like an RO exciter, or you can just boost the top end. Like I said, is I would bring in my SSL, PA, waves, or UAD, whatever you like, and you can just boost the highs and see how they sound, and then dial back what you need. You can throw a bell, work on the highs, pull out some low end just so the highs can sit right. Then you can do your surgical work or whatever else you need. And that's what I did. RO exciter first. Then I brought in the pull tech, as you can see in the whole chain here. It was RO exciter. This is reverb. This is a spreader, which I tried. It didn't really sit right. Then I brought in a pull tech, and then I just had the H delay. So RO exciter, pull tech afterwards, just to make things cozy, and then you can go from there. So that's it. That's pretty much what I would do, is I bring in my vocals, I edit them, and then I work on my highs to make sure the highs are sitting right. Then I go in and make things sit comfy. So let's say your vocals aren't like this, where you needed to add highs. Let's say they were already real bright, like you're running through a Neumann U87 and they're super bright. Then you want to control those highs first and just do cuts there first. Then you can make it all sit cozy. If you need a little more surgical work, then still work on the highs, either add or subtract. Then you can go in and cut like nuances, muddiness. You can bring all that out, but usually you bring the mud out when you worked on those highs. So it's kind of like you can be pulling out mud but listening to the highs to make sure that's sitting right. So you can do it that way also, but work on the highs of the vocals first, then go in and you can work on your instruments. That's what I feel. Vocals are like a real main thing in pop music. So try that out. If you need more advice, feel free to leave a comment below or shoot me an email, and I'll help you out as much as I can. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to get the vocals more in your face and punchy, and that's going to be fun. So I hope you guys check that out also. As always, keep creating music. Take care.